Okay, just a second.
Because we're just about ready to go. Can you see my face? You can't see my face.
No.
Let me see why that is happening. So the camera's on. It's showing my face over here. I'll try replugging the camera in.
Yeah, we are live.
Live on
And
Facebook?
we can see your face. Yeah.
Okay,
Everyone
welcome
is
everyone. Did I cut out?
Now we're good to go.
We're good? Okay, I'm going to start. Sahaj?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, great. Welcome everyone to 96 Boards Open Hours. This is kind of an intermission session right now. Okay, so like I'm going to explain this. What is Open Hours and who am I and who is everyone on this call? My name's Robert Wolf, host, co-host of 96 Boards Open Hours. This is kind of a place where technology meets community, meets open source, meets fun, meets just kind of everything, right? We just kind of hang out here every week and there's not much that has been going on lately. However, we do have a huge transition period happening as we speak. So what happened for the first 100 episodes? We kind of started out doing interviews and having some fun, showing off demos and stuff. And then it slowly lulled into, I want to say something that was not as appealing to most people. And I know it's kind of tough to appeal to everyone on this type of podcast or this type of live stream, but we really want to try. So, so we're going to change some stuff up and see how it goes, right? I want to first talk about a little bit of what we've done this last phase. I want to talk about this month of May, what we've been doing the month of May, and then we're going to move on to what is going to happen in the coming months and years, hopefully, with Open Hours. And so, like, I don't know if you noticed this, right, but I have some gadgets here. This is a Dragon Board 410C. For those of you who stick around, I am going to be announcing a giveaway for this Dragon Board 410C. I have several other Dragon Board 410Cs here on my drawer to my left. So this is just a single board computer for anyone who has not seen this. I'm going to be giving away this one as well as several more, all right? Maybe not today, but you can at least find out what's going to be happening with those. I have a secret new board that has just been launched. This was launched about a week ago. So I'll be doing a small unboxing of this board and then sharing.
Is this the one I'm thinking?
Is it? Well, you have it.
Okay.
You have it too. Yeah. So we'll be doing an unboxing. We'll talk a little bit about that board. Of course, I have stickers that I'm going to be giving away. Enough about the giveaways. There's a lot of things that you'll all have a chance to get at. We have a form that you'll fill out at the end of the show. Besides that, okay, let's talk about what happened last episode. Last episode and this whole month we've been doing Women in STEM, a Women in STEM initiative that I'm so proud of everyone who has been participating in this. Our community and everyone here in the Blue Jeans channel. By the way, anyone on YouTube, there is a link in the description. If you would like to join us on the Blue Jeans channel, you can always transition over into this area. Feel free to join us and turn on your cameras and mics and talk with us. But I'm so proud of everyone who has participated in this Women in STEM initiative from 96 Boards. And I say like from 96 Boards, but it's only because 96 Boards was just kind of nice enough to allow us to do this on their channel. It didn't have anything to do with 96 Boards. All of the bright women in STEM who helped create these questions, Lisa Nguyen from Lenaro, who is continuing to help co-host this initiative, and then all of the folks here in the Blue Jeans channel that are hanging out with us every week throughout this month, who have kind of posed the questions and hopefully I would say made a difference in some young females' lives who are trying to break their way into a STEM career. So awesome for everyone to be doing this. There is one more episode left. And so I don't know who's familiar with Stephanie Explains It All, but she is our headliner of the month. It will be episode 6, and that is going to happen later today. So if you are in most time zones, or no, I shouldn't say most time zones, actually less than most time zones. If you're in the Western Hemisphere, you will be experiencing the last Women in STEM episode at around 6:30 p.m. today. And then, Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 p.m. Unfortunately, in Europe, it's going to be 1:30 a.m. tomorrow. So anyone who's interested in staying up and doing that, feel free. I'll join you with a beer. The other thing is that that closes out the Women in STEM month for this, this initiative. However, we do have retention plans in place. So what we want to do is we want to continue hosting, episodes like this, right? Breaking away from the 96 boards, or I should say the OpenHours norm. And we want to kind of take in, multiple cultures and multiple, things that could be happening around the world that might, not otherwise be accented in our regular broadcasts. So I please, anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching, reach out to me, robert.wolf@lennar.org. We'd love to have you on the show. If it's not on our regular broadcast, we can accommodate other time zones. We'll do a nice talk about some of the things you're working on, possibly, that are related to the region you're in, because there are a lot of different technological advancements that are happening around the world that, I'm not familiar with, right? So please reach out. Now, going down the list. Last week, we spoke with two women in STEM. One was Girl Code MX, and I'm hoping Sahaj might be able to share these links, but the videos are already up on our YouTube channel, 96 Boards YouTube channel. Girl Code MX, her name is Alejandra Munoz. Awesome interview, had so much fun with her. She's from Mexico, and she had so much interesting things to share. I would suggest watching that. The next interview was later that night, so we had 2 interviews last week as well, and that was Silly Scientist Michelle, who is also the Silly Scientist, and she is actually really silly. So you should watch her video. There's a lot of really cool things that we talk about. She is silly, but she also has so many interesting things to share around the chem field. So if you are interested in chemistry, she's the person to talk to. You can follow her on Instagram. She's very accessible. So if you have any questions for her, you can always reach out and get your questions answered from her. Now, going on into this episode, I wanted to kind of give this last ditch effort of announcing phase 2. Okay, like we've gone through 100 episodes already of OpenHours. This is not 101. 101 will be happening on the first week of June. That is the next Thursday. We will be presenting the first episode of phase 1. Now, I'm going to give some of our focuses on what we expect phase 1 to be, what we want out of, what we want to give and what we want out of the community when it comes to phase 2. Now, before I go into that, I just want to let you know that if you stick around here, we also have a bunch of other announcements that will be coming up. We have Mani and Sahaj, 2 Bright 96 Boards application engineers, who will be announcing some of their initiatives for the rest of the year, as well as some of the things that they've done recently. And one of which is super exciting. I can't wait till Mani gets on and tells us about this news. I'm pretty sure y'all will be excited as well. But yeah, so stick around for that. Phase 2, we are going to start approaching OpenHours with a bit of a different kind of live stream feel. Okay, so people are on YouTube right now watching. We before never really advertised YouTube Live. It's always been join Blue Jeans, participate with us on Blue Jeans, and that's pretty much was the only way to get in touch with us. Now we're on YouTube Live. This is going to be the primary streaming mechanism. So YouTube Live, you can come watch us every Thursday, 4 p.m. UTC. I'm pointing over here because this is where the YouTube Live screen is. But yeah, so YouTube Live, join us there. And then inside the description, you can, of course, jump on over to Blue Jeans. That is going to be the new primary mechanism for anyone who'd like to share or join the show. Now, you're always welcome on the Blue Jeans. We have up to 150 endpoints. So from YouTube Live, just come on, cruise over to the Blue Jeans and have a talk with us. But on top of that, we are also setting up more of a structured approach to how we want to get the content that we have, up here out to y'all, right? So we've decided to set up a mixed batch of what we want each week to be. Usually there's about 4 weeks in a month, right? So we're gonna do 3 interviews and 1 Q&A, all right? Now, if there happens to be 5 Thursdays in that month, we will do 2 Q&As. this is going to give the opportunity for anyone who joins OpenHours to not only experience the leading open source, kind of tech interviews that we used to do, right? Because Linaro is a huge open source community, a huge open source jar of information. Well, there's a lot of things going on inside Linaro that I would imagine people would want to know about. And so we'll be interviewing people from all over Linaro. We have tons of partners. I'm talking like 50, 100 partners out there that have all showed interest in wanting to join us. And we'll be also petitioning them to join us for interviews. So you'll get to see, north to south, east to west, all around the world, every type of technological, hopefully every type of technological advancement that we can get our hands on as early as possible to get this information out to you. Of course, you can ask your questions. We're going to ask our questions, and then we'll have all this fun together and make some videos and share it with the world. That's the first thing. The second thing is we want to make sure for the Q&A that we give everyone on here an opportunity to ask questions about 96 boards. All right, so we are dedicating 1, possibly 2 episodes a month to anyone who would like to come in and just ask questions or hang out. I bring my coffee every time. We just hang out, have some fun. That's kind of us trying to stay true to the OpenHours name. It's open forum. Join us and we'll get your questions answered. The next thing is I'm going to start doing monthly giveaways, right? So I know people like giveaways, people like free stuff. We like giving free stuff, but a lot of times it's we want people here to enjoy the conversation and to hang out with us, not just for the free stuff. So I think once a month will be fun. Also, it'll allow me to get rid of a lot of the swag that I bring back, because I usually I'm kind of a hoarder. So I go to these booths when I go to conventions. I go to booths and I don't just grab one. I grab like 2 or 3 of them, and then I bring them home. And I'm like, why did I grab 2 or 3 of those things? I don't need any of them. And so I'll be giving away, like swag from conventions, from the things I go to, stickers, and then of course 96 boards products from our partners. So every time we get some good boards from our partners, we'll of course give those out, and then those will be sponsored by our partners. So we want to do that once a month. The other thing is that we're going to try to provide more demos. All right, so this is something that's a little more eye-catching, a little more I think entertaining. I love demos. Everyone loves demos. I don't know who wouldn't love seeing demos. So we're going to try showing more demos, and that means that anyone out there who would like to showcase their demos, bring them to us, and we will feature you here on OpenHours. Of course, you have to be ready to be recorded, and there is some bit of public speaking involved, but all in all, we're just here to have fun and share with y'all. Great. So I have a few more things I'm going to say, but I have a feeling I might be boring you all. So we're going to go into a couple other announcements that we will be shared with Mani and Sahaj, our 2 96 boards engineers. I don't think they need any introduction to those who have already attended OpenHours in the past, but I think they should probably still provide some, considering there might be people out there who don't know you. So Mani, you have some great news for us, and I'm so excited.
Yes, of course, and thank you, Robert. And so those of you who don't know me, so I'm actually Manivan Selassion, working as an applications engineer for Linaro 96 boards team. So I'm actually taking care of the application stuff along with Sahaj Sarup. So we both are from India. So the surprise news which Robert was telling you everyone is that yesterday I was made as a maintainer for MRA library. So so those of you continuously watching the OpenHours, you might know that I have been working with the MRA library since I joined 96 boards. So so that's what. So considering my contribution, they made me as a maintainer. So this will actually improve the process of merging the pull request into the MRA library so fast. So this will make the contributions moving very smoothly. So yeah, that's a great news. And so Robert will share the link for the MRA library in the chat window. So just visit the library. So basically, MRA is a low-level Linux library for communicating with the peripherals in your single board computer. So it can be a 96 board, it can be a Intel Edison or Raspberry Pi. So it's actually a platform agnostic library. And for our 96 boards platform, we depend on this library for giving our users a way to access the peripherals like GPIO, I2C, Pi, and much more. Okay, so as I said before, I've been working on this library for almost 7 to 8 months. So every time when I do something with MRA, I usually push out a blog. So this is actually requested by or ordered by Robert. So I'm just sharing all the blogs which I have done.
Did you say
MRA.
ordered?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. You're in charge, buddy.
I know, right? Money. Let me say one thing real quick though before we go on to the blogs, because
Sure.
I want people to understand how awesome this is for libmraa, right? Now, for instance, you're playing with the Raspberry Pi and you have your Raspberry Pi IO library, right? So what's that one called? I forgot. It's RPi. Whatever, I forgot what it's called. When you're importing and you're playing with Python, you want to toggle some GPIOs or play with any IO on your Raspberry Pi, you import the library, you code with it, it gives you all the things you need, right? So libmraa does similar to that. It gives you access to your IOs, right? But with 96 boards, we're SoC agnostic, SoC system on chip. So we don't specify the need for a specific SoC on your board. Okay, so with Raspberry Pi, you're always working with Broadcom. Broadcom is on all of your boards. But if I just hold two boards up here right now, and we have a bunch of these, they look exactly the same, but this board in my left hand has the Kirin 6220 chip from Huawei, and this board over here has the Action Semi S900, right? So these are two different vendors, two different chip vendors, two different SoCs, completely different IO pathing. Right? So now, how do you make these work the same? How do you control both of their inputs and outputs with a single library? That is what libmraa does. So by putting libmraa on these boards, you can now control IOs with the same code. So you take your code, and that code, you can just move it from one board to the other, and boom, it just works, right? Did I explain that right, Mani?
Yes, exactly. And one of the biggest advantage of using this MRA library is that it supports multiple languages, which means that you can use C, C++, Python, Java, and all of these languages to code your peripheral. So that's one of the nice thing about this MRA library. And yeah, so we do have some future plans for expanding the support of this library. So the primary would be adding more 96 board support as the boards coming along all the way. And apart from our board support, we do also plan to add some peripheral support to the MRA core. So which means that, for instance, it now lacks the I2S support. So which means that you can't use any sound programming with the help of this library. So that's why we thought of adding support for the I2S as the next step going forward, so that you can do some ALSA programming with the help of this library. So yeah, that's going to be the next step. And so this will actually allow the community as well as the partners who are manufacturing the 96 boards to collaborate with the MRA. So what they can do is they can either send the pull request for upstreaming that board, which is very, very easy, because for 96 boards, we actually created a skeleton 96 boards base driver. So that will handle most of the part. And if you are actually adding your own board support to the MRA, you can just go to that source and then just fill in some of the informations, like what are all the pin mapping in your board, and then what are all the I2C ports you are exposing, as well as their character device mapping. So when you are done, and that's it, your board will be ready to run MRA. It's super easy. I think you can get it started by almost 20 minutes of time, which is very, very cool. So that's what we are expecting from the partners.
So now this basically, now let's say this, right? There are people in this channel that are watching you that might have a 96 boards, right? That might have a Dragon board or a high key or something. Now, if they want to go work on libmraa, and this is so everyone watching, Mani is a co-maintainer now, right? So you can go into the libmraa repository, fork it, and if you have some work that you want to do on that library, please, submit your pull request, tag Mani on there, or submit an issue, tag Mani on there, and he can help you out to make sure that the stuff you're doing for 96 boards is, on the right path, right? Because we want to make sure that we're helping you on that path. Also, as a community contributor, you will get a lot of praise from us. We love community contributors. So anyone who goes and pulls and forks the libmraa library and submits some stuff that gets accepted, let us know, or I'm sure Mani will know, and we'd love to possibly hook you up with some stuff. Yeah.
So actually, while talking about the community contribution, I should actually mention Ivan. So he's the first community contributor to 96 boards. So he
Ivan
actually
Marcus.
added. Yeah, I think he's not in the call.
Not today.
Yeah. So he's a regular attendee, and he's the first community contributor who contributed the board support for Dragon Board 820C. So I didn't do it. I just actually verified his PR and then just merged it. That's it. Very super cool. That's like the community is involving in the MRA contribution. That's very cool.
Excellent. Yeah, and so if you wanna ever reach out or find out more about this, we shared the link. I think both in Blue Jeans and in YouTube. You can go check out libmraa. I usually just search for it on Google. I don't have a tab or a bookmark or anything. If you just type GitHub libmraa, you get right to the repository. You can check that out anytime. So, Mani, future plans. You said, well, I already forgot.
Yeah, actually adding more 96 board support and also some peripheral support.
Yeah, so message to our partners, if you're watching this and you have a board that you're going to release, go put it in libmraa and then come talk to us. Yeah, get it in there. I'm just, talk to us first if you want as well. I'm just kidding. All right.
So I just shared the link to UPM library also. So UPM is like a child library of MRA. So it's actually a top level library which sits above MRA. So it is used for accessing the sensors and the actuators. So usually when you are trying to interface any sensors to any Linux board, what you will do is, if it is an iSPICE sensor, what you will do is you will just write a code or a library by yourself for communicating to that sensor through iSPICE. Usually that's not needed because most of the sensors got drivers, kernel drivers. I mean, it's in the kernel also. Or if you want to use your sensor, most likely the driver for that sensor will already be in the kernel. Why can't you just go and use it instead of writing your own code for accessing the registers and all? So that's what the libupm library provides. So it actually provides wrapper for actually communicating to the kernel driver. So all you have to do is just enable the relevant kernel driver and then build your kernel, deploy it on your board, and then use libupm for extracting the sensor data from your driver. Very easy.
Yeah, I did that for this OLED screen yesterday. So this is SSD 1306, and I just received it. I'll just replay with it. And first thought was going to try it with Dragon board or something. I just ended up and used UPM. I think it was like 5 or 6 lines of code. That's it to make the display work because everything's being handled by UPM.
Yeah, exactly. It actually removes all the complication in writing a driver. You don't need to write a driver since it's already there.
So I want to address a couple questions that came up in the chat. I hope I pronounced the name right. Mudassir Safar. So he's asking, can you do deep learning stuff with 96 boards, right? Like he said these boards, but with 96 boards. And the answer is yes. And in fact, we're on our way to creating a full software stack for AI and deep learning on a variety of 96 boards. So like real quick, if you look to my right, you can see a whole bunch of these boards. Most of them are consumer edition boards. So they fit this very generic form factor, a bunch of different SoCs and a bunch of different features, right? Like feature sets that these SoCs may accent, right? Now, 96 boards, in order to kind of keep up with the amount of boards that people want to push out while simultaneously providing a strong software story, which, to be honest, the 96 boards as a whole, it's very hard for us to come up with a strong software story. However, if we divide the 96 boards into discrete sections, right? Like let's say, for instance, AI. If we divide 96 boards and we take a chunk of these boards and we say, these are the boards that specialize for AI, then you start to see that the partners, our partners, and 96 boards and Lenaro can keep up a little better with the software story behind these discrete sections of boards. So this was when 96boards.ai got launched. It was roughly March of this year. You'll see right now there are 3 boards up there, the Ultra 96, the Rock 960, and the High Key 970. All 3 of these boards are available right now to purchase. However, I believe 2 of them right now, they sold so quickly, they're on back order. So you'll need, the big orders will be coming out hopefully within a month. All of the orders that are in now will be fulfilled, right? So this is allowing you to not only start working in AI, but you'll have a community of people who are working on the same thing, making that software story better. All right. So the developers, the big time developers that are behind this are also increasing your ability to work at a more in a more comfortable setting, right? So let's just take, for example, the Ultra 96. The Ultra 96 is an FPGA board, right? But what Xilinx and Avnet want to do, the 2 companies who teamed up to build this board, is they have an SDK that pairs up, an add-on to Eclipse IDE that will allow you to code in C and program your FPGA in C, right? Now, in a lot of it does all the translations, it does all the work for you. You can now code using this awesome tool set that they give you to program your FPGA. You can do it, and it is very good for AI, right? Now, the only thing is that I think will become available in June or July, right? So you're going to start seeing a lot of action around this board come June, July. Also, as we partner up with a few other companies to kind of like showcase some really cool demos. We're going to be working on some stuff as well. Spoiler alert. But these are just examples of what's happening, right? And so the software story becomes a lot stronger when dealing with the smaller subsets of 96 boards. I hope that answers your question. I'm sure there's a lot more to check out. If you go to 96boards.ai, you'll see a lot more there. We are still polishing the site, so please, sorry ahead of time. We're polishing it. We're polishing the documentations around it. And Angie just asked on the Blue Jeans chat, will it be on the 96 board site? So right now we are working on our own story, the website story, because 96boards.ai is not for all intents and purposes, it is another site. However, it is still 96 boards. All right. So we need to make 96boards.ai and 96boards.org feel like the same thing. And we're almost there. So we should be pushing out some big changes in the coming weeks where you'll almost feel no difference. When you're on .ai and you're on .org, you shouldn't feel a difference. You are approaching 96 boards with a vertical in mind. That vertical is AI, and so that branches you to the AI section. However, you want to come back to .org, it shouldn't feel any different. So it will be on the 96 board site. You'll have a way to get back and forth very easily. Hope that answers your question, Angie. And then another question that comes up here is it similar to what is being done in big companies? This is also from Madasir. And I would say that the big companies are actually the companies who are building these boards. All right. So, like again, sorry. If I look at the Dragon board, which fell right here, this was created by Qualcomm and Arrow. The Ultra 96 that I'm telling you about, that was created by Avnet and Xilinx. And then if you look at the Rock 960, that was created by Vammers and Rockchip, right? All of these companies are partners of 96 boards. Okay, so when you look at why these boards look the way they do and why the spec is designed this way, why is the footprint like this, why does the IO do this, and why is everything how it is on the 96 board spec, it's because the big companies chose that. You know, the big companies voted for these features. All right, so that's kind of the way we look at it there. Another question up here. Sorry, I'm just going to get these questions answered real quick. Meaning, can I get a job with machine learning or deep learning job using these? Well, I can't say yes and I can't say no, right? Because I'm not going to, I don't want to get your hopes up or anything, but these boards are on the bleeding edge, right? You know, you're getting access to chips that are in phones right now, or access to chips that are literally put out there for the purpose of machine learning and deep learning, right? And 96 boards is making a big push on this. So if you started working with these boards, I would say that you get a head up, right? You know, the next step is on you, right? How much you put into it. But I don't know, Mani or Sahaj, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I got a suggestion here. So you actually, I came across a similar kind of question in Quora. So one guy asked, so can I get a job after completing the Professor Andrew Ng's deep learning course? So the answer is yes and no. So actually the Andrew Ng's course for deep learning or machine learning is a great thing for the starting point. And then I would recommend you to just complete this course, which is available in the Coursera. And after completing the course, you can actually pick one of the 96 boards which is supporting deep learning technology, like the boards listed in the 96boards.ai, like the Ultra 96 board. So you can actually choose the Ultra 96 board and then start developing the machine learning algorithms and or deep learning algorithms based on that. So only if you are doing that, you'll be able to get a job, or you'll be able to shape your career with the machine learning or deep learning path. So only only completing the Andrew Ng's course will not help you. So you need to have some practical experience of developing the algorithms based on any real life boards such as our 96 boards.
Yeah, I don't know, like John Mark, you're kind of you're a seasoned, experienced, you have more experience than any of us in the field. I mean, do you have would you like to add anything, or are you feeling like just kind of like sitting back today?
No, I'm still sitting back. I have a lot of experience on embedded programming, C programming, C++. Linux, and I'm using Linux, but the single board computer using Linux, it's quite new for me since last year. So I don't have too much of those experience here. I'm working on Cortex-M machine rather than this bigger board. But when I have time, I like to go into it. But now I'm very busy doing some other things, using the Cortex-L also for Bluetooth, and unfortunately, not too much time on working on Dragon board, unfortunately. But I still enjoy following your discussion, guys. So go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you, John Mark. In general, though, Mudassir, it seems that you know what Mani says is true. At least I believe that you get your theoretical and all of your kind of class course material. You can go get that all online, watch some videos, and learn about machine learning and deep learning. But when you actually want to get hands-on experience, that's when you'll start working with boards like this, right? And you will get a lot of experience. Trust me. I mean, just bringing the board up and getting your development environment set up and how you want to work. It's all of this is just part of the experience, and it's things that companies value a lot because it reduces their ramp-up time. The ramp-up time that it takes, the money that they have to put out to get you up to a productive level, right? So if you take care of all that time before you get hired, you save them a lot of money, right? And time. Hopefully that answers your question. I would definitely suggest looking into 96 boards, do your own research, and if you have more questions, please bring them over to us anytime. All right, I think we took care of all the questions in here. I hope we can move on to the next topic at hand, and that is with Sahaj. Mr. Sahaj.
Hello.
Hello. Geek till it hurts.
Yes. All right. So hello everyone. I'm Sahaj Saroop. I'm also the application team, and I also have a YouTube channel. If you want to go ahead and check that out, and that's where it all began. So I was a long time kind of a maker and a Raspberry Pi enthusiast before joining the coach team, and I think this was a question I think Timothy asked me personally is how did I come to work with 96 boards, and I mean I've never been too public about it and I talked on OpenHours that much. But the short story is one day I got the hiking and I was experimenting with different boards that aren't Raspberry Pi. So the one day I just get the Hikey 960 for a review, and I kind of fell in love with it because of the amount of the development that has been like continuously going on with the 96 boards platform. Like there are people supporting the software side of things because a lot of the cheaper boards that you end up buying, they don't get the software support, they don't get the kernel updates and everything else. So that was a point, and I'd like kind of started working on them, and then met Robert on Twitter, I think, and now we're here. Yeah. So on the 96 board side of end, as an update, there is some very interesting announcement going on the mezzanine side of things. We actually now have a GPS mezzanine that everyone can go and buy. Let me just copy the link here. So this is available for pre-order on Group Gets, and this is our first mezzanine that is that has been kind of developed and made as a form of a contribution from the mezzanine community, which is basically an open source community setup so that people can go ahead design their own hardware around the 96 port specification and contribute to it and keep everything, keep all the designs open. We support Altium, EagleCAD, and KiCad at the moment. Along, if you want to go ahead and add from any other kind of development environment, that's also fine. So the GPS mezzanine it's originally designed by Michael Welling, and then it's all based on the community's input.
You know, Sahaj,
Yeah.
can you share that? Can you share the Group Gets mezzanine link also in YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, cool. This is actually pretty important for us because, you know, it's our first community commissioned board, right? And it's only like 16% funded. You know, I don't want to have to go in and buy the other 84% to get it funded. So it would be really cool if people went in there and helped us get this funded. We have, you know, 2 months left on the slot there. There's still quite a bit. But what I will say is that if this gets funded, it's only the first step, because I know that a GPS mezzanine might not appeal to, you know, the masses, but we have some mezzanines that are in the pipeline that are just amazing. So, you know, this is the one that ended up getting pushed out first, but we will be, you know, provided this one gets funded, we will have so many other boards to push out. And Michael Welling is just ready, chomping at the bit to get more of these boards out. So we will keep you updated on that.
I mean, it's not like it doesn't just have just the GPS module. You get a small prototyping area with the pinouts for other GPIO pins that aren't being used, and you have like a battery holder as well for RTC or for the GPS module, and then most importantly, you have that USB to UART module that you've seen on the STM30 on the sensors mezzanine and the audio mezzanine. So similarly, it also has a you don't have to have a FTDI to UART dongles to get the UART output. You can just plug in the micro USB there.
Yeah, the original version that's shown in the picture is actually not what it looks like. You have to scroll down a bit and you'll see the printout. You get like what Sahaj says is the prototyping section and the UART console. So I mean, like that alone, if you were just gonna go buy the UART mezzanine, that's $15, right? So subtract that from the 75, you're down to 60, and then you get the prototyping area and you get a GPS module, which is pretty cool. So you know, if we were able to put 100 boards up there, we probably could have gotten the price down to $50. But unfortunately, the first run, this is our first attempt with group gets, we were only really able to put up 25. So that's why the price is at $75. You got to want it.
All right. So
Cool.
I guess kind of moving on, the YouTube channel will also be going through a fair bit of, I'd say it will be getting a bit more attention from now on. It has been for the past few weeks. So the move to get the OpenHours like mainly onto YouTube and have those as secondary is one small part of it. I'll be also working on multiple guide videos, and in the past I've uploaded quite a few, along with some of the guide videos for our recently launched Ultra 96 board, and for the project videos where we used to have a simple end product demo kind of a thing. Once our project is over, we are more aiming for a step by step, if not necessarily in a part series, but then also the video may be longer with kind of start to beginning explaining how the whole process of making that particular project went. And then on the third bit, we are also going to have that's related to the guide videos. We are going to have specific playlist for all our boards that we are going to release and have released in the past. So it should be easier to go ahead and take a look at those videos.
Yeah, so I also want to add that we're reaching out to a lot of people, because like right now what we're doing is these live streams, right? We'll be doing, like I mentioned earlier, 96 open hours, right? Phase 2, we're going to be doing a bunch of interviews. Okay, in the coming phase, we're going to have interviews all hopefully several times a month, right? But I know a lot of people aren't really interested in these hour-long interviews, or for that matter, talking, live and not being able to kind of screen their words, right? So we're offering anyone out there who is interested in discussing tech, 96 boards, whatever they're working on. We prefer open source and 96 boards, but it doesn't have to be that. We just want to have tech talks. We want to hang out, Sahaj, Mani, me, whoever else would like to join us behind the scenes on a Blue Jeans call privately and have a tech talk, okay? Now, the cool thing about this tech talk is that we can talk about whatever you want, and then we'll record it, and then it'll go through some editing, and then we'll post it. So if you are interested in just kind of hanging out and having a tech talk with us without worrying too much about what you're going to say on a live broadcast, on a live stream, well then, again, another reason to just kind of ping us, send us an email, and we can schedule something in. We love doing this kind of stuff, right? So let us know, and we'll post it on our YouTube, of course.
Cool.
Did you have anything else? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. What's up?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So kind of moving along. A few projects that I've been working on. I mean, we've not updated you all in a while on OpenHours on what's happening behind the scenes with the projects. So the first one is the Magic Mirror. So I'm just putting in on the link to the part 2, which should link to the part 1 as well. And this project is basically an attempt to get the Magic Mirror kind of a demo working on the Dragon Board 410C, but where I kind of differentiated is instead of doing everything in Python and Pygame, which most of the projects are, or in JavaScript, I've actually attempted to do it on Qt5 to be exact. And that means we can actually use the OpenGL acceleration from the Dragon board to have a very smooth user interface experience. Now, going forward with that, this also has a PIR sensor, so the screen turns off automatically and then turns back on. And most importantly, it has a gesture-based control. So I've used a something that's called Flick 3D. Now, Flick 3D is uh, it's a very specific sensor, gesture sensor. It's made by Microchip and kind of it was out there for the Raspberry Pi, but then I ended up writing a bunch of a small library for it to work with our Dragon board or all of our 96 boards, and it basically it can track your finger in X, Y, and Z axis, as well as track some specific gestures like flick up and down and left and right. So that's how we control the magic mirror. And of course, the blog post also has a quick video if you want to go through that. Couple of projects that will be coming up very soon. I will have a finished blog for the point of sale system project, which is based on Java and SQL for the database management. So that would allow you to have 3 different nodes: an admin node, a client node, and a kitchen node, and a centralized system where the client can order things that would go through the kitchen and it will get back to you, right? Like in a restaurant situation. And then the admin node can go ahead and add new offers, add new menu items, change the price and all of that stuff. So that should be interesting, and a fairly detailed blog on that coming up. The third thing that I am working on right now, and it's in a very early stage, is actually thanks to Lawrence from Qualcomm. And on the forum, I went ahead and asked what's the possibility of taking a line input on a Dragon board. So the Dragon board has a mic DAC, but that the voltage levels of the mic input are fairly low from the line input, and Lawrence actually went ahead and gave me a fairly easy kind of a circuit to go ahead and implement that. So now I can stream audio through my laptop into the Dragonboard 410C, and it works perfectly well. So the idea is to create seriously like a LED, individually addressed LED based visualizer on a fairly large scale, using new pixels and stuff like that. So yes, I'm able to take the input into the Dragon board, use pulse audio to kind of work my way with the audio, and I still have to work the the LED part of it. So that should also be coming up soon. And moving on to documentation. One of the big changes that maybe will be coming through here is we are having quite a few, let's say, duplicacies. Is the right word? I don't know. In our documentation, because our high keyboards and our Dragon boards have many guides that are similar, but for Hikey 960, we repeat those guides for the Hikey, and then for the Dragon board 410C, same guides are there for the 820. And in an attempt to kind of make everything common as much as possible so that we don't have multiple guides that basically say the same thing, we are going to have common folders or common guides for both of those boards. So the users shouldn't see as much of a difference unless they're specifically looking for something. But instead of when you go into the documentation, instead of going to Dragon board 410C or 820 specifically, there will be first a section that just says Dragon board, and that should help with that. So that's still a work in progress largely. And
that'll also be seeing simultaneous updates with our website too. So yeah, they're both kind of going hand in hand.
Yeah. And the last one is
No, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So the last one is the contribution guidelines. So I have written a fairly comprehensive contribution guide, if anyone wants to go ahead and provide contributions to our website, add new boards, add new guides. If they say something's wrong and they want to correct that, you can simply go ahead and do it on your own, and we'll accept your pull request with open hands.
Awesome. Great. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So thank you, Sahaj, for sharing all that. You clearly, working on a lot of stuff there. You and Mani are working on a lot of things. The 96 boards team in general, and thanks to everyone in the community, making this all possible as well. Now we're at the top of the hour. This is kind of closing out time, right? So I do want to share what we're going to be doing later today. There are a couple things we're doing later today, and then of course how to get your hands on one or more of our dragon boards, right? Because we will be doing some giveaways. And of course, also, what else do we have? Inside this little pouch right here, this is a Delta Vision camera mezzanine. So they were donated by Delta Vision. I have several of these as well that we'll be giving away as a pair, right? So it comes with a little camera, the Delta Vision mezzanine that snaps on top of your dragon board and lets you do, computer vision type applications. Now, how will you get a chance at winning one of these? So tonight, I should say tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on your time zone, but roughly, I'm going to share my screen here, all right? So we can look together at this. Share screen 1. Tonight, we will be speaking with Stephanie from Stephanie Explains It All. If you aren't familiar with Stephanie, she's just awesome, right? I would suggest going and checking out her YouTube page. This is youtube.com/StephanieGG. Go check out her YouTube page. Look at her videos. There are so many cool things that she is up to, and we will be speaking with her on this channel, the exact same channel you're on right now, tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the West Coast of the United States, that's where we're going to be speaking. I think right now that's UTC -7. So you can follow this countdown at 96boards.org/OpenHours. So if you just follow the interview with Stephanie countdown there, you'll see that it is in 8.5 hours. This will be your chance to, and I still have to discuss it with her, but this will be your chance to hopefully win a dragon board during that episode, right? Not only will we be giving away a dragon board and a mezzanine pair, but we will also be giving away, a package of random cool little stickers, right? So that's another chance for you to get your hands on stickers. Who won last week's sticker giveaway? Last week's sticker giveaway goes to John Mark. Actually, I did a random number. There were only 4 entries again. So John Mark, you won last week's sticker entry. And this was actually a cool one. I really liked it because there was a lot of Maker Faire stickers in here. So I'll find a way to get that out to you. We'll be sending them out we'll be sending them out next month. So once all of the sticker giveaways are done, I'll package them all up, take them down to the post office, and send them all out at the same time. John Mark, congratulations. The other winners throughout the month, I've already announced them before, but we have Tyeth, we have Tim, Abraxas. I think that those were the 3 other winners. So congratulations on that. Now, tune in later tonight. You'll get a chance at winning a Dragon Board 410C. That's in 8.5 hours. I suggest coming by, again, Stephanie GG on Instagram, Stephanie GG on YouTube, and join us to ask her questions about, I guess, life, like what she does and the stuff that she's made throughout her career as a maker and a YouTuber and an influencer. She's done a lot of cool stuff. And then also, we will also be asking her questions as well, right? I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because there is one last thing that we will be doing before turning off the recording, and that is opening this Banana Pie 96 boards. Am I in the right place? Right. So if anyone's
This
familiar
is
with
not the
Banana
board I
Pie,
was thinking about.
it isn't, is it? But did you get one yet?
No.
Okay. So Banana Pie, we do have the website. I'm going to share it right here. Up on top, maybe? Where did I put the banana pie? Oh, right here. Oh, banana pie. If you're in the Blue Jeans chat still, that's the banana pie. Sahaj, if you wouldn't mind sharing it on the YouTube. But so the banana pie, I'm actually gonna click this open. It's a 96 boards that follows the IoT specification. So you can see it. Am I holding it up in the right place? I can't even see where my camera is, right? Okay, so on this board, it features the STM32F103 SoC on there. It's ARM 32-bit Cortex-M chip, and you know, it's more of a microcontroller-based chip, right? So that's what I would say mostly, but specializing in narrowband IoT, right? So so I believe it even has a slot on there for like a SIM card, right? That you can put in there and get access to narrowband networks. Go check it out online. I think it's for sale already. We did post the website. It looks like they have distribution across the US as well as on AliExpress. So narrowband IoT, banana pie, 96 boards. All right, done. Great. Closing out. Any last words, anyone? No? Okay. Don't forget to join us tonight, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, to talk with Stephanie Explains It All on this same channel, 96 Boards Open Hours, celebrating Women in STEM Month, closing out phase 1 of Open Hours on to phase 2. Thank you, everyone. It's gonna take a second to close out all of these channels here.
If you are on any live stream, you can join us on the Blue Jeans 4 after.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on the YouTube live stream, the description puts the channel for Blue Jeans. You can shuffle on over to here because the live stream is going to turn off on the YouTube side of things, but you can still come hang out with us in Blue Jeans. All right. Are you going to turn that off first? Bye, YouTube.
Yeah, bye, YouTube.